Well, here's number 8 in our series on getting started this autumn, and we're going to look at tracking students, and I'd like to try and share some ideas that might work for you and explain how they worked for me. One of the privileges of my academic career was to join the top management program. TMP 31 was my cohort, and to spend a week as part of that in and around Atlanta, talking to people who are delivering research and education in large, small universities, colleges, institutions of many different types. And the large universities had huge cohorts of students, and they would use tracking and analytics to work out who was doing what. Smaller universities would rely on small groups, and they would know people and they would track people personally. And there was even a model where people were starting to charge for every single thing that happened, and so their finance and tracking would be linked. So, some bad reasons for wanting to track students. Well, simply as a control mechanism, that's really bad. Bargaining, it depends who you're bargaining with, how you're bargaining, how much of that data you intend to share. I have mixed feelings about that, but there are some really good reasons if it's done properly. You can certainly understand how you're teaching and learning, how your module's going down, and you can create a fact-based dialogue over engagement. You can use the data to draw in those whom you see are becoming disengaged, and importantly, to encourage those who are really engaged. And finally, there are some creative things you can do as well. When we first mooted the idea of tracking students through every stage of their learning, there was all kinds of mythology came out from all kinds of different people. This would be an invasion of privacy. Students would dislike it. Students would cheat. They would hand in their cards to their mates. And there would be manifestly more people on the register than ever appeared in the lectures. And all I can say is that that wasn't our experience. And by and large, students took a very positive view of what was going on. So some strategies around what you might do. First of all, I'd say share the information. Make it open. Let the students know. If you know when they're all studying, let them know. Put it up in some kind of a dashboard so everybody can see everything. Anonymized, of course, but let that data be something that you share, not that you hoard. Secondly, involve the class. Often they're very happy to help collecting data, and you do get a more responsible approach to tracking in the end. If somebody's not going to be somewhere at a lecture or a seminar, they will start to email you in and tell you, look, I can't make it, and here's why. Respond quickly when problems arise. You've got a magical system if you're tracking everything. We discovered one year that students were really struggling to do the reading that we wanted, and so we laid on a speed reading course, and we could do the whole thing, set it up, and register students online in a couple of weeks and have the course finished and done with, and know who turned up, who had actually asked to register. But finally, make it fun, play some games, get the class to compete against themselves or against last year's cohort. Set a target and see if they can beat it. Just have some fun. There's lots of data there. Use it to have fun. What should I track? I think there are two tensions that you need to be aware of, and they are in the literature. If you're having problems with the literature, get in touch and we can have share some ideas around that. But basically, one of the tensions is between simply measuring activity. Has somebody logged on? Have they logged on for 5 hours but not done anything? And engagement. And there's a difference in those. The icons are not necessarily particularly helpful here, but you want to be measuring engagement rather than activity. And secondly, there's a tendency to try and measure what you can because the technology allows you to, rather than measuring those things which really support the teaching model that you're pursuing. So beware of those tensions in what you set up. For me, there are two key questions, I think. One around the when and the how long. How long are they engaging for? Engaging, not just switching on their machines. And secondly, how are they doing when they are engaged? If you can find any way to get some idea of the progress they're making and how long they're spending, those two questions, if you can answer them, will be of immense value to you. So to sum up, tracking is really important if you're going to support the whole class. It can be a really creative way of engaging with the whole class and for the class to engage with what's happening as well. Make it a two-way street. Beware of mistaking activity for engagement and try to make sure that you're measuring what you believe needs to be measured and not just what is easily measured. So I'm around. Here are some of my coordinates. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and get in touch if I can help.